Hello, chat. I'm Dave, and this is my fellow Mike. He's going to help me out with this stream and geek out in general. I just find it easier to talk to someone than to just talk to myself. So what this basically is going to be is it's basically going to be a new segment and things that we just want to talk about. Things like you know what happened in our games this week, or hey, this happened or something. But we'll definitely figure it out. Hey, what video games? I'm even up for going outside of tabletop. But to start it off, what we're going to do is we're going to try to have a map of the week, a map that I can show everyone, and show people and where to get it. This week it actually comes from somebody that's in the Dreaded Maps. He does excellent work. I've seen great stuff from him. Let's go over to his Patreon. So this is his latest release, which is the Gilded Brick House. It's a haunted swamp estate with creepy caves and altar. He tends to focus heavily on story. Like his maps have a good story base, which I really like. A closer up version of this for everyone to see. This is the first floor of it, but you can see all the major details that he puts into it. He really focuses on the details. I've watched him a couple of times. He streams. Let me give you a shout out here. I don't know if this will do it, but we'll find out. Because, but he does some really beautiful work. Did not do it on that one, so I have to do it over on this one. Interesting. That's fine. We can do that. Oops. Okay, there's the shout out. Go check him out. He does some really neat work, and he streams it and shows you how he makes it. But it's technically your first one on your Patreon. It literally says that you updated it 10 hours ago. One cool thing is that he did include 2 ambient tracks. I don't know if you do that every single time. But he has some really nice looking maps. This is level 2 of the map. So you can actually it's not the level 2. I grabbed the wrong one. Help if this was level 2. But there's multiple levels. Well, we definitely appreciate it. Just a real quick preview of his soundtrack, the music that he provided with this one. It's kind of nice and creepy. I like it. But he does really good work, and that's basically what I'm going to do for the map of the week. I'm basically going to show you a map that I think is worth the value. You can find him at Patreon under Dreaded Maps. He does some really nice work. Just to show some of his other work real quick. He did the Rosebud Hall. So, check him out because he does some... Oh, I didn't know you did this pirate map. I'm going to have to use that in my pirate game that I'm making. But take a look at him. He's really good. Check him out. So, okay. I have no real major plans for this show. I will fair warn you. I'm kind of lazy and I didn't plan too terribly much. But I did send Mike a few things, and one thing I want to point out real quick: Free League Publishing is a friend of the channel. They've been really good to us. They're really nice. They have the Electric State, which is going to be a a movie show. Um, they make really good work. If you've ever seen one of their books, they did The Walking Dead, they did Aliens, they did
Okay.
Dragonbane. If you've seen their work, that's well made material, and it's very well done layout wise, which I appreciate. But they have 7 days to go. They've already made their goal, so it's going to be published. It's going to work. You might as well pick it up now and get it done. I don't know why I went to Kickstarter first, but here we are.
It's a
Um,
it's a nasty habit.
the other one that you might look into, and this is the talk of the town right now, as you can see, they've made $2.9 million, is the
CD.
MCDM RPG. It looks really well done. The only downfall is they initially said they were going to support other VTTs and then build their own. They've since taken that back and said, hey, we're not going to support other VTTs. We're going to focus on our VTT.
Okay.
Which I don't know. I'm kind of up against that because if your VTT was so good, you wouldn't have to not support other VTTs.
Yeah, the this is one that I'd already had back before you sent the news and stuff over. Was it's the same reason. Just found it super interesting for what they're presenting, or at least they're on the backer kit page for what they've presented, what they're showing out there, and then again, who's in the community for which is building the system itself. Again, was brought interest to it for me.
Right. And it kind of feels like 5e, but I think it's going to have a faster combat system, which
Yeah.
I'm very happy about because I find combat in 5e droning.
Yes.
But it's already in testing. They've definitely made their money. And they also make really good books on the. I've seen some of their other books that they have because they have a lot of 5e supplements, and they
Okay.
make really good books, which is important to me because I hate to buy a book and then have it fall apart 3 days later as I'm trying to learn it.
Yeah, I like their. I don't see it as a call out here, but I know on their YouTube video that they posted up there, their victories, how they're using
Yeah,
victories, experience, and kind of the challenge between: do you keep the victory so you can work towards recovery, or do you keep the victory, go rest, and then use it for experience? Right, that dilemma. What's next? What do we want to do?
right. And I mean, it's mostly a 2d6 game, which
Yeah.
I like 2d6. I think 2d6 works really well. Some odd reason I decided to go 1d12 with my system, even though I like 2d6. I don't know. But who knows? Mine is still in flux. It might change. Um, but I mean, if this is the layout, it's a really nice layout. Like, it's clean, it's crisp.
Yep.
Um, the other one
There's
that,
good definition. There's good differentiation between the classes and the abilities within the classes as well at this
which
level.
is really nice, yeah, and there's different benefits to the races,
Right.
which I saw. I watched their YouTube video and their live stream, which has a lot more information than what they're providing. Um, but it, I'm liking the looks of it so far. Will it be my primary game? Probably not because it's still a little bit too crunchy for me. But I could see somebody who likes D&D a lot
Yeah.
playing it.
Yeah. Well, and there's, as with a lot of the other systems, there's interesting tidbits to be able to take from this, to plug in your homebrew stuff that you're playing back at the house with family and friends, whatever. Different ideas to be able to take from this concept and play into that as well.
Yeah. Um, and it's kit based, so it's not like, I don't know. It looks really good. But I'm not happy about how they're announcing things about it. Like, it's like they weren't prepared to announce it, but then they decided to announce it. Um, which I find strange, um, but yeah. So I mean, backers are going to have contract tester. They're going to have contract testers, and they've said that backers will eventually be able to test it before it's out.
Yeah.
So it's on my list of when I get paid to probably back, just because I want to read it, and probably do a review of it. The next one that we have is called Skybound Realms. Now, this hasn't been released yet to back. It still has 23 days before it's going to be released. Hey, Skillum, how you doing? This one's called Skybound Realms, Soaring Skies. I have no idea about the system because they're not really clear about the system. But it is steampunk, if steampunk was ever steampunk. Which I'm all for steampunk worlds. They're hard to do in other systems. So if this system's built around it, it is a D6 based dice pool system. So that makes me interested because I'm doing a D12 based die pool system. So I'm curious how they handle it.
Right. Successes and target numbers and
yeah. I was just playing with Wonder Draft earlier too. I decided to do mine in Incarnate because it just seemed to work better. Sorry, I don't know if you can see chat.
Yeah, I can see it. It's
okay. But this sounds like a really interesting world. I'll be interested when they release it to back. What if they provide anything about the system? I can't fully back it right now, but it's definitely looks good. And another one that is interesting is Frostbite Valley. It's STL, so it's 3D modeling. I know it's not quite RPG, but it is RPG. But it's all Christmas based. And she has said that she's going to release it before the end of in like a week or two after it ends. So you have plenty of time to print them out for like a New Year's Eve thing. But it's not only is it going to be the current volume that she has out for sale, but you'll actually be able to get the new stuff too. So it will be all together as a $50 thing. So it's like 80 plus models for $50, which is a good buy.
That's nice.
And there's Krampus. That I supported it because I want the terrain, because she has some really cool terrain pieces. But Ice Dragon, and then some animals, a bear with a Santa hat. I just love that. But
yeah, I like that we're seeing more and more STLs come out with a lot of the games and releases. Now I just got to get a 3D printer.
It's nice. Having a 3D printer is nice.
Like, oh man, that's so cool. And in some of the 3D puzzles and things, you'll see come out with some of these as well. Really
Let's
cool.
put it this way,
Meg. Have a printer to do it.
I wish I played more in person, because I can't justify the cost of resin because I don't play in person.
Yeah, that is again,
I have one game I'm playing in person, and I'm not even DMing it. So
you're just giving the DM, hey, try this one. No, try this one now. No, I don't know the answer to this one, but you should try this one too. Yeah, no,
here I have this giant black dragon. I just printed. But like, look at these ice wells.
Yeah,
ice walls is not something you see often enough. You see a lot of firewalls, but not many ice walls.
You know, it makes me think of one of the older Supermans
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
with the design. I mean, I think that was quartz and crystal, but the crystal designs of those ice walls make me think of that.
Ice elemental. I love the snowman mimic. I love mimics. I'm just a mimic fool. If I can throw a mimic in, I will. But they have a higher setting where you can get this nice dice box too. That's made by her husband. And that one's only $20 more. So you get a really nice. She's well reasonable in her price and stuff. Another one that is quick. It doesn't have much longer. This is for 5e folks out there. This is 4 different one shots that you can play. It includes the PDF of them. It's about $14 American, 13 pounds roughly, for all 4 of them in PDF format.
Yep.
But it looked reasonable. I wouldn't say for $14. It's where it looks reasonable for $14.
Right.
I don't know if I would pay more than that for it. But I'm kind of particular about modules because they have to be pretty good for me to want them, because I typically do homebrew.
I can't say that. I haven't had enough time to be able to develop my own adventures and deeper campaigns, so a lot of it's been.
Go ahead.
I say a lot of it's just been grab what's there, quick read. Okay, let's get it on the table and let's get the family moving and get into it.
Pretty much, yeah. One thing to note of this, though, it does use AI, which I think the price is a little high for that. But I'm, as a user of AI, and the channel's not afraid of AI, I'm okay with that. But I know a lot of people are against AI, and I can understand why. I do understand the reason. I just feel like it's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, it's going to be here to stay. Okay, so a couple announcements of news that happened. There was a announcement by Halcyon Games. They are the makers of the Witcher series, Witcher RPG, and what was the other one? Oh, Cyberpunk Red. They're coming out with an anime slash. They're coming out with an anime. It really is mostly anime slash noir kind of deal. It's going to have robots in it, and it's supposed to be a really easy, simple system. It's not supposed to be as complex as Witcher or Cyberpunk Red.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be interested to see where this goes. Because I really like Cyberpunk Red and I really like the Witcher series. So that will be an interesting time. I think that covers the news, right? No problem, Frog. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah,
did I have
the way in here? This was the first time that I had read over this was when you shot me the article, and the way their success is, it's a D6 system, right, for this one? Yeah.
Yes.
The way kind of their successes and targets work reminded me of another system that I've played with as well, which played very well, very easy, for kind of those target numbers and how your sixes and how those counts work and how that dice pool works. Tends to flow very well, like you were talking earlier. Helps a lot with any type of interaction, to be honest, because they're set dice pools, can't get above X amount. so you know kind of some of your limitations already as you're going into that and looking at it.
Right. Oh, I did forget to mention this. Dungeons and Dragons and your postal service are teaming up to provide a whole bunch of stamps for the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. They looked really cool, and some odd reason I didn't send you the link.
I haven't looked at the photos on that one, but I did know that it was coming out already. I'll just look at the Postal Service's site real quick, pull the photos.
Yeah, that's what I'm pulling up. I just want to make sure I had grabbed the right thing first. So there's going to be Tiamat, the classic Red Dragon cover, the Lich cover from the Lich. Dritz is going to be on it on one.
Purple Worm.
The Purple Worm, classic Purple Worm, Hedge Maze. I think this looks pretty cool. I'm excited for them. I'll probably
It's a
buy
shame
a
we
set.
didn't get anything from some of the other realms. Most of this looks like it's all from Forgotten Realms. So you didn't get anything from Dragonlance, but this is. I feel like when I see things for D&D, Forgotten Realms is that typical one. Granted, it's also one of the larger ones, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wish it did have a gelatinous cube one. That would have been cool. And yes, Frog, D&D is only 50 years old. It's only 10 years older than me. So I've been playing it since I could pretty much about 10. So, but yeah, so I'm excited for those. I'll get a set. I mean, what's it going to cost you? $5, $6? So I'll put them right with my dinosaur set. Remember when they came out with those dinosaur ones?
Yep.
I got those as a child, and my dad put them in plexiglass.
Well, that's cool. Make sure they last. My wife is a huge fan of dinosaurs, so
I checked like a month ago. They're still worth like 2 cents. They're worth nothing.
It's collector value, right?
It has sentimental value because it was the first time my dad actually tried to reach out and into one of my my things that I enjoy. Usually it was him showing me things he enjoys, and it was nice that he reached out and tried to grab what I tried. I think that's cool. All I found for news. Did you find anything else?
So I unfortunately, I'm sure there's more, but I did not look. Did you already cover anything from your trip out to PAX, or you want to talk?
I did not. On that? Yeah, we should probably talk about that. I haven't really talked about that on stream much, except to say it went really well. So I have met 3 or 4 people at PAX that have agreed to come on the show. So we'll have some guests probably at the beginning of the new year. I went with DM Tales. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he was earlier. He brought me down, actually. He said, "Hey, this is going on. Anybody want to go?" And then he said, "I got a media pass." I said, "I could get a media pass." So I went and grabbed a media pass. I tell you what, I don't think I'd ever go to a con without a media pass.
Yeah.
We were able to get a locker, put our stuff in it so I didn't have to carry around my backpack all day.
Oh, that's nice.
It was... we had our own separate room, so it was nice and quiet when we wanted quiet, and it was... I think from now on it will just be media for me. Though I can't say that because I did pay my way into Dragon Con.
Yeah.
This coming year.
Here's it. Did you happen to run into anybody from No Dice, No Glory out there?
No Dice, No Glory.
They're more wargaming tabletop.
I didn't go to the miniature section.
Okay. Just curious.
I wanted to. I just never got around to it. Because it was always busy because they had a lot of paint classes going on.
Yeah, and then their paint competitions they usually have going on.
and they had a all day event where you could go and get a mini and paint it and take it with you.
A lot of fun. That's what you do at the con. A lot of fun.
I'll show you if you come to Dragon Con with me, Super. I'll show you what you do at a con. It's a lot of fun. Either of you have an opinion on the RuneScape TTRPG game? I don't, because I haven't looked into it. I knew they were making it, but I haven't looked into it.
Yeah. Same.
It was on my list of things to look into. I got to talk to the publishing company of it, and it sounded interesting. But they were more toting their basic RPG. You bought it? I'd be interested to see what you think of it, Frog. Because
I'd be curious how much of a carryover there was from the original into this. Some of the mechanics in there. It's been a long time since I looked at that, but
from what I hear, they carried over a lot of it.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. They modernized it a little bit from what the publisher said. But again, they were really pushing their basic RPG. But he was also the author of the basic RPG, so I can understand why he was doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I better read the RuneScape thing so I can give you better advice. But what else happened at the con? I got to talk to Wet Ink Games. They publish. Do I have them nearby? They are on my table, behind me. But they publish a game called Psychic Kids. It's basically Stranger Things. If all the kids had psychic powers. And you're trying to run away and escape from a agency that is trying to control you. They also had a game which I also bought because it's built for a younger generation, and I want to get my son into gaming. It's called Here Are the Doggies. Here Come the Doggies. It's basically you pretend you are role playing yourself as a dog. And trying to get away from like the dog catcher and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it sounds really cool. They all use the same kind of system, which is a fairly easy system. If Frog can ever go to a con instead of carrying heavy backpack, let's just load up a wagon and that would be great. Because carrying around a backpack is the worst part about a con. And I'm going to have to do it in Atlanta when I go in for Dragon Con.
I got lucky when I went to, oh my gosh, Gen Con this last year. And we planned about a year in advance. So we got parking that was just outside the conference center within 3-4 minutes of walking, or within 5 minutes from anywhere inside the conference center. So just that, we like pack up all of our stuff and then, all right, let's walk to the car, drop it off. Let's go get lunch. It's right there. It's easy. It's in the cooler in the back of the car.
Right. So, and if you wanted to go to Dragon Con, I think I'm going to try to talk Super into going. I'd be happy to meet up with you and talk and hang out, because going to a con by yourself is not the funnest, but going with people is really fun. It's in Georgia. But I really had a lot of fun with DM Tales. He was a great guy to go. He was not afraid to walk up to people and just say, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" and ask them questions, which helped me because I was nervous as my first con as a media person. I didn't have the guts initially to walk up to people. But it was, oh, ad break for Frog. I gotta fix that. Hold on. But it was a lot of fun. I trying to think what else I did. Oh, I ran a game. I ran an easy D6 game. It was with DM Tails and five other guys. They showed up. They said, "Oh, we have another guy. Can you do 7?" And I went, "Not a problem. I can do 7." I had 12 character sheets, so I could have done 12 if people wanted. So they screamed at him, brought him back over, set them all up, and they just had a blast. They went through the same thing that everybody's seen on this channel. I've done it twice on this channel. Basically, the one shot is that they have to fix the power, but to fix the power, they have to go through a power station. And in that power station, there's a whole bunch of bugs. And these bugs will absorb energy and grow bigger. So it was a lot of fun because they did things that none of my other two groups did. And I think it was because they all knew each other and they were in person.
Feed the bugs to see if they explode from energy.
I also played it without a map, which I think worked better because I was able to create more suspense that way.
Right.
I wish I could shut them off, Sodom, but they don't allow you to shut them off. I've reduced them as much as they allow me to because I'm not on here to make money. Yeah, it's not. It's about 260 days away. It's in August, I think, or April. August,
and that one, you said that one's down in Georgia, right?
That one's in Georgia. Yeah.
I might have to look because I got a
second largest con.
I got a buddy that lives down in that area, that I haven't seen in person in, oh man.
Okay, August. Yeah, that's what I thought. A while. But yeah, so I've already bought my ticket. I've got my hotel reserved. I just have to buy a flight down, which flights don't really change much between almost a year from now or 6 months from now. Yeah. So I figured I'll just purchase that when it gets closer. And then I've applied to get a media for the PAX East, which I got a media for PAX Unplug. I can't imagine I don't get it for PAX East, but who knows? That's in Boston, so that's a lot closer to me.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah.
Dragon. I didn't apply for a media for Dragon Con because they're super strict about it, and they said no content creators.
Really?
They said no content creators. So okay. I was like, well, yeah. So that was my same thing. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go and buy a ticket. Because I wanted to go experience it because I've never experienced Dragon Con. I've heard tons of things about it. I'm excited to see because it's one of the biggest cosplay cons. So I think the tickets went for $150. I want to say. I definitely want to go to Gen Con. It will not be this year. I've spent enough money going to cons this year.
Yeah, so I can answer that. I went to Gen Con this last time for, I think it's only 4 days. Well, there's that pre-day that I wasn't there for, but it was my first time ever going to a con. And we did the typical thing, which I don't recommend anybody do, but that was filled up our first 2 days with every minute bouncing around. It was super stressful. though the games were fun, you didn't have a lot of time to stop and look at the scenery. But then, like those last 2 days, we were smart enough to leave gaps. So those gaps paid huge dividends in the end. But absolutely worth going to it.
It's definitely on my list of places to go. It probably will be next year though.
When you were at PAX Unplugged, did you get to do anything with Dragonbane?
I did. I got
How did you
to
like the system?
play an encounter. Loved it. So interesting thing about Dragonbane, me and D and Tails, we wanted to go to do Free League. Free League has all kinds of things that were going on. So we wanted to go do Free League and play Walking Dead.
Okay.
And then go and play Dragonbane. But we signed up for the wrong section, and we signed up for the 4-hour game of something. And we were like, well, never mind. We'll come back for Dragonbane. So we came back for Dragonbane, and the encounter they had was a very simple encounter. Basically, there was a diamond in the center of a dungeon room, and we had to retrieve it. So what happened was I played the mage, and all of the party members kind of went in, and skeletons dropped from the ceiling, and they fought the skeletons. I did the most damage. And then we killed all of them, and just as we killed all of them, 3 more dropped, and I said, I'm done with this. And I cast a gust of wind against the wall and knocked the diamond to the doorway that I was standing in, and then just picked up the diamond and shut the door. And that's how the encounter ended.
Well, you succeeded, right? The goal was to capture the diamond. Absolutely.
Not my fault. They ran in like crazies. He said that he had been doing this all weekend, and 2 of the mages stole the diamond from the party. So I thought it was fun.
Yeah, sounds like
I did some really interesting things. Like I cast a pillar underneath someone, and I overpowered it, so it really shot them high up into the sky. And then Dragonbane has these falling rules that are really brutal. So they fell off the Palister and pretty much died instantly. And then the other thing I did was I cast Ignite on a skeleton's cape that he was wearing. So he ignited on fire. So it was a lot of fun. The system's quick, fast, and easy.
Which, as we talked about earlier, helps a lot whenever you're doing combat.
Yes.
Makes it it keeps the flow going.
Very much so. And Dragonbane, I am going to do a one-shot on the channel with Dragonbane, probably in February. So if you wanted to try it out, that's the time to do it.
One of the things you talked about with Dragonbane was a lot of the interaction of moving things, right? So you gust of wind to move the diamond out, and that was one of the things. Just it made me think about MCDM. One of the things they're having a lot that play a lot in there is knockback, or the ability to how much easier it is to move things around the battlefield.
Yeah, I just find
or that type of interaction. Curious to see how that plays out.
What I've heard from their rule set so far from the live stream and what I've read, it just seems overly complicated.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to drag it down. But
we'll see.
We'll definitely see.
I hope not, but because I think the first thing I've played recently that reminded me that I've seen a lot of that play out and been super useful was here playing with my family, the Tenaries Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of that inside I can't think what their newest version is. I think Adventures is their newest version. So inside that, a lot of the classes have that ability to move things and manipulate the battlefield, a lot like the old strategists did.
As
So
far as D&D is concerned, I think that's a good thing.
yeah,
I don't know if they're going to take people away from D&D if they make it too complicated.
right.
Why
Very
would
true.
you go to something complicated when you can just, even if it's better, why would you go to something complicated when you can just stick with D&D, something you know?
True.
But I also think a lot of these simple, easy games, they're great. I love them, but I don't think they're going to take away from D&D either. They're not going to get from the D&D group.
Agree, but it's amazing what those bring to a player or a GM when they, not necessarily mixing systems, but when you're looking through that and you're looking at the mechanics of the system and like, oh, how do we pull that into something I'm making on homebrew, or how do I build that into a character? How do I do that and not overpower it inside another system? Right. There's tons of ideas that come out of those. And as you said, even the simplest of the mechanics out of them. How do we play that in, and how do we build that in?
And I'm not saying that they're bad systems.
No.
I absolutely love Easy D6, in fact. But I also think that your basic D&D player who's never played anything else isn't going to be tempted by somebody saying, "Oh, it's simple, so it's more narrative." I just don't see that being a selling point to somebody who's already playing D&D. I could be wrong. I could very
Especially
much be wrong.
if there's not a willingness to get the experiences, right?
Right.
Then I agree. And we see that with board gamers as well.
Oh, very much
So
so. Look at
so
Catan. There are people who will not play anything but Catan, and it's like,
yeah.
there are better games out there,
Yes.
Board games. I saw some really cool and interesting board games while I was there. I got to play, got to see the Dark Tower Returns game being played. I didn't get to play it, but I got to watch it. And that was really cool because I didn't get to play the original. So,
Okay.
And there was a really cool card game, and I gave the guy my card. And I hope he calls me. It was, you made sushi, but it was also a cat shop. So you had like cats that you had to try to sell at the same time. So you were making sushi. You know how like cat coffee shops. This was a cat
Yeah.
sushi shop. So you
Okay.
had to like adopt these cats. You had to get these cats adopted while making sushi. It was a really interesting. It was super cute. Like the cards were like big-eyed cats and that type of thing.
Okay.
I'm hoping he calls me, but he was really busy when I bothered him, so we'll see.
Wow. Yeah. No. There was another game that is your Rival Restaurants is what I was thinking when you first started talking that. If you've never
Rival
played that one,
restaurants.
Rival
Yeah.
Restaurants is another really fun, simple, easy. I'm trying to think of who did Rival Restaurants. I can't think of who made that one, but it's another one of those. It's fun, right? It made me think of what's the cooking game that's on the consoles, PC, video game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one where you run around and you throw
Yeah,
things and
right. So it made me think of that, but for board game, lots of fun. It's simple enough that it keeps the action moving very quickly, and there's enough complexity in there that there's competition between all of the players with everything that's going on. And there's enough options that you don't feel like everyone's choosing the same thing.
Right. Which is good, because that's sometimes the downfall to a lot of games, is it feels like everybody's choosing the same
Right.
player.
We're all moving down the same path. There's enough diversity in like each of the chefs has an ability that kicks in at different phases of the game. So there's enough diversity there with the chefs, and then there's different ethnic types of different ethnicities for the restaurants. And if you cook recipes that are of your ethnicity, you get additional points. Yeah, so like I said, there's just enough variety in there to really make that a lot of fun and still be competitive. And it's one of those games that at the end of the game, when the winner is identified, they're usually not a winner by like 15, 20 points. They're a winner by 3 to 4 points. Even if the whole match you were doing the smallest, simplest version of a recipe you could do, but you were getting a lot of them, the end of the match, it's still a very close game for who's there.
That's interesting. Another studio, a publishing company
that's who it was.
Another publishing company that I saw there, and I can't find them, and that irritates me because I don't fully remember the game. But all of their games that they were publishing, they were crowdfunding, and crowdfunding through Patreon. So you signed up for a Patreon with them, and then you would get their games. I'm trying to think. I just went through the expo list, seeing if I could see what it was, because it was an interesting concept. Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't? How are you funding these? And they weren't bad games either, from what I saw for them.
I can't tell who it is. I can't see the names in the chat, but somebody wants to talk about DDC.
If we on top of card games, can I throw DDC into the conversation? See, I don't know card games that well.
Oh, card games.
What is DDC? DC Dual Force? Death? Interesting. What's it about, Frog?
Similar to Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, okay. I had the wrong one.
It's published by TCT Comics. Okay. Dance Card Evolution. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just brought it up. That's cool. It's fairly reasonably priced. All right, well, that's cool. I may be biased because it's my cousin. That's fine.
Well, kudos to your cousin for stepping out into the experience of creating a game.
Hey, creating is the hardest thing I'm finding. I've been writing this book for about a year now, and it's just now getting to the editor. But trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk. How did your family game go this week? Did you play this week? You run a family game, right?
If you're talking to me, yeah.
Yeah.
So we did not play this weekend. Instead, We were celebrating my sister-in-law's birthday, so we went out to see the Vienna Boys
Oh,
Club.
okay. Cool.
So,
We had my in-person game, and this is something that people don't get to see a lot. I play a rabbit folk paladin, and I'm filled with a party of thieves. It's been so hard not to try to kill them all. So, and I'm a paladin of Michaela, or however you say it, the goddess of forest from Forgotten Realms, because we're playing Forgotten Realms. And we had to infiltrate a castle, and we tried to do it stealthily. We had a cloak. We had a cloak that would turn someone into a bat. So I turned into a bat, and then they climbed up the wall stealthily because there were thieves. And one's a warlock, but she has a high enough dex that she plays it like a thief. The guards were coming, so I tried to distract them, and they swatted me with their sword. And I turned back because bats only have 1 hit point. Well, no longer stealth.
well, so the good news is it wasn't heavy armor, right? It wasn't the big clinking and clacking.
Nope. It was just a regular bat that they managed to swipe and hit. And then we took those guards out, and then we heard more coming up in a trap door that I saw. So I had made an alchemist fire, so I opened up the trap door and threw the alchemist fire down on top of them. And then we were pretty much like, well, no longer stealth. So we climbed down the ladder, and then we ripped the ladder from the trap door so that they couldn't come out that way because it was 20 feet up. And then so we had 2 entrances. We had a stairwell coming up, and we had a doorway. So I said, I'll take the doorway. I'll stand in the doorway, and I'll just hold them there. And the rest of the party focused on the stairwell. And I did. I held them there. They didn't move. Then again, I'm also wielding a shield and armor, and I have something else that boosts my AC. I'm trying to think what it is. Oh, I have defensive stance. So I'm at like an AC of 19, so it's hard to hit me to begin with.
Right.
So, but that was really fun. It was fun because I wasn't DMing.
Yeah.
Um,
Always fun. My youngest son is 11, and he recently DM'd his first game as well.
Ooh.
I got him a module for Christmas. It was Throne of the Sun King, I think is what it was called, and it came out with it had a 3D printed stuff already that it came with. So there was a puzzle in there. You had to bounce lasers off of mirrors, and they provided all of that, right? So there was a lot of interaction on the battle map. And then he went in and he brought in new monsters because he didn't like what was there. He ran it really well. I was super surprised. It was all kinds of fun, and that was actually the last one that we did. So I've been taking the time. So, we didn't play this weekend, but I took the time this weekend to try and look at the rules that they're coming out with Bastions, and then looked at some older rules that were out there for 3.5 and Strongholds and some of that stuff, and kind of blending those to create something for our players for a stronghold, a home base to be able to start to move out from, so I can try and build into a campaign.
That's cool. One thing at PAX, we found a company who is making a D&D Lite version for kids, and they've broken it down so simple that they were able to do one side of the rule set with words and then flip it around and have a rule set with images, so that if you have like a 4 or 5 year old who can't play because they can't read, it gives them the ability to play.
Right.
So that was really cool. That's coming out. He said that was coming out beginning of January is the Kickstarter for that. So I'm hoping
That's
to
really
have him.
cool.
I'm hoping to have him on when that Kickstarter launches. So
To respond back to who was it? Was that Frog that talked about
AC.
Skirmish? Well, no, I see the AC too, but on Skirmish, there's another really interesting one. If you ever get a chance, it is called, I think it's Warlord Saga of the Storm. That I got to play when I was out at PAX. That was a really interesting twist on a CCG collectible card game and how the rules and mechanics functioned in that. You might find that one interesting as well. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I also got to play a Twilight Imperial game this week. I don't know if you've ever played Twilight Imperial.
I have wanted to many times, but never taken the full plunge into trying to play it.
It's complicated, but I really love the game. The game's really well done. And starting in January, we will have a stream of it every. I can't remember if it's Sunday or Saturday that we agreed to, or if it was during the week. But anyways, when it comes closer, I'll announce it. But we're gonna stream. I'm gonna stream the game so that people can see it. It's slightly complicated, so I don't know if people will be able to follow. Hopefully, I can explain to them what's going on. I think I can. I know the game pretty well now. So,
is there a lot of crossover between D&D rules, concepts, and then back into their miniature world?
into the Twilight Imperium world?
Yeah.
No, because it's a
Okay.
Space Odyssey game.
Okay. Is it strictly ship based then?
It's strictly ships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You basically play. You set up a galaxy.
Yep. I know which one you're talking about now. I was thinking of something else. I knew it was space based. I just had the wrong game.
No, that's fine. But you basically, for the chat, in case you guys don't know, there's 16 different alien races, and each alien race has a unique abilities and unique commanders. And then you try to build up a fleet and start to take over different things. There's a planet in the middle called Mechatol Rex. And if you get that and keep it, it's a victory point per round. Where if you don't keep it, then you don't get the victory point. But then there's also a phase, once you've unlocked Mechatol, there's a phase called agenda phase. And what that does is you reveal these agendas and they really change the game. So like there was with the game that we had last time, it was the agenda came up, said, okay, so the speaker, which is the person who is in charge that round, draws another card, reads it, and then just tells you what type of card it is. And then you have to vote on it without knowing what the actual agenda is. And when I voted for it, I voted for it because it was a for or against, and usually the fours are better. Usually it's something like anybody who votes for gets this benefit. Anybody who votes if against wins, everybody who voted for gets this penalty. So we voted for. The speaker reveals it, and it's like all of your dreadnoughts get destroyed except 2. I had an armada of dreadnoughts, so I was down to like 3 ships when we last left the game. So
that's rough.
Oh yeah, but I'll come back. But one of our guys is way ahead of everyone. He has 5 points, and we need to knock him back a little bit. but it's a fun game. It's complicated, but it's fun. But I think that's all I have for news and game stuff. Unless you have anything else to add.
No,
Mike?
no. I will. I'll be sure to do a little bit better prep myself.
I'm going to let's go ahead and try to raid somebody who's playing right now. Let's see. Sometimes I hate how Twitch doesn't always show everyone that. We'll go to Grimfrost. Grimfrost is playing a game. She's playing Amnesia, and she screams like the Dickens. She's fun to watch. So she's fun to watch. So let's go over and say hi to Grimfrost. She's a great streamer. I like watching her. So let's go over there and say hi. Hold on for a sec, Mike, while I get this raid going. I want to say thank you and stuff. But thanks everybody for showing up, and we'll be here next week to discuss more. Hopefully there's more news. I'm sure there will be. All right, Mike, I just gotta.
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Sorry about that. Loud noises in the background.
No problem. Thanks, man, for helping out.